We're going to sit down here with Amy, and she's going to talk to us about how she lives completely off-grid and natural on her farm here in the Diamante Valley in Costa Rica. It's a beautiful, peaceful space.
I think the oxygen, something's happening here. It's really makes me feel vital and alive. I try to, sometimes I sleep. I have a table out here you can see for yoga and meditation, qigong, and I like to sleep under the stars when I can on a dry night.
Which must be beautiful, right?
Oh, I mean, when you sleep really exposed under the night sky, which I think we've been created to be able to do and receive. We're really gifted many things at night, a lot of information, and the lights that are up there, it's such gentle kind of light. It's not really dark. You know, when I grew up and my parents would come into my bedroom and close the curtains at night and shut the door, it was dark. I was scared. I mean, no wonder I had nightmares and things. It was pitch black, and what I learned when I first came here was that night isn't dark. It's full of light, but amazing gentle light, not the kind of light that would keep you up at night, but a moonlight, a starlight, you know. And then I started reading spiritual books and things, and discussing things like the cosmic radiation, the cosmic intelligence out there that's also feeding us at night. When we're under these roofs and we're not touching the ground anymore, we're kind of missing out on all that connection, which the ancient peoples knew. All over the world, the indigenous peoples have known these things about constantly staying connected as much as possible with earth, with sky. So what happens at night is, because everything becomes shadow, everything that we focus our attention on disappears at night, and our gaze is elevated towards the skies. So I'm not using light bulbs, just natural lighting, and so by evening, the things that I need light for, I try to finish with. And it puts me into a really different space, more kind of spiritual, winding down, returning back to the breath. You know, I like to start with breath in the morning here and doing a morning practice, and then come back to that by late afternoon. And it's quite lovely. It's like a cycle, you know, and allowing the body to rest from food. So by finishing eating before nightfall, which makes sense in a natural environment, because if you can't see what you're eating, you probably won't eat it. It's not safe. So once you take away lights, you know, and you go back to natural lighting, if it's dark out, you should have been done eating by then, because we don't have night vision. Other beings on this earth do. And that, in fact, 80% of Costa Rica's wildlife is nocturnal. So it's coming out at night. So this is a time for us to actually quiet down and let the rest of, you know, life here come out and do its hunting and feeding. And notice how graceful and quiet these beings are. When we're trying to sleep and it's quiet out, they are so graceful and quiet about all their hunting and their feeding. Now look at us during the day and how much noise we make with our machines. These animals right now, as I speak, are trying to sleep. So when you get back into nature and you start seeing some of the ways we live and we've grown up that really don't make much sense anymore. So I've done a lot of deprogramming, a lot of reprogramming, deprogramming, redefining, just observing, you know, many hours in silence. Are you exploring living foods, raw foods as a family, or just visiting, you know?
In transition.
Yeah.
Trying to.
Okay. The idea of living food, it's putting life force into your body. We can simplify it, you know. There's food that does not give you life force, it actually takes it away.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so processed foods that we know aren't good for us. That's what living food is. It's just alive. The water that the indigenous peoples used to use was alive. It had oxygen in it. Many of the peoples, you know, these ancient peoples would refuse to drink the water that we drink today. That's not alive anymore. So they were so aware, because once you start pumping water through tubes and pipes and things, there's only a certain time where the oxygen levels start getting depleted, and it doesn't have any life force by the time it comes out of the sink, even if it's clean, right? it still doesn't have vitality, life force. They would not want to take that into their bodies. This is the level of sensitivity that people have had, on this earth. So the living food for me, and I don't drink water, and I haven't been for several years now. I'm not really interested in drinking water. I'm not thirsty most of the time, and I'm basically, when I eat, I drink, because I'm eating pretty much food from plants and trees. All of this, it wasn't so much like raw food. It has to be raw food. It was just food that's real. Food that's actually enhancing my vitality and life force and my being, my consciousness, rather than taking it away. So it was an easy simplification for me, although the discipline behind it is not necessarily so easy. You had to cut out many things I was used to eating. As a musician and a trumpet player, I was using my body and my diaphragm a lot, and noticing how I felt after I would eat at restaurants in New York City. We'd take a break, the band, and you got to eat, and then you go back. When I'd go back to play and I have to start playing again, I started noticing uncomfortability, inflammation, little gas, swelling, and I knew that was, I was thinking, the bread, the pasta, I got to stop this. And I did. I started cutting it out until I was asking for a plate of steamed vegetables. They were looking at the restaurant. There was almost nothing to eat. And then I discovered living foods, or raw foods, started going to a support group in New York City. And within 1 week, it spoke so deep. Something happened for me when I realized it's okay to eat this way, just to eat real food. You can have, sit down to 4 apples as a meal. That's okay. I just needed to know that was okay to do, to eat that way, And then I got some support, and I went to a few meetings, and that was it. And it's been, 7 years of eating living foods, basically foods from plants and trees. And so that allowed me, when I came here, I didn't need the stove, and I don't need a refrigerator. I have no refrigerator, I have no machines here, no blenders. I'm blending here with our wonderful blender we have, our molars here. And I'm juicing most of my food now and spitting out the fiber. That's the place that I've come to after eating this way for years. I'm interested in the essence, the nectar, the liquid in the food. Now the water in those fruits and vegetables that I'm eating here is highly structured and definitely alive. So I would much rather have that water, than the water coming out of, even from a fresh spring, which here we have spring water. It's not, they don't do anything to it. It is fresh, but it still comes through tubing. And water doesn't taste that great. I don't find it very interesting. I'd much rather have coconut water, orange water, or watermelon water, pineapple water. Another thing that I'm doing here that to me is probably the most important work that I do on this farm, this piece of land, is to make my own earth from my body, from what's coming forth through my body, which is wonderful food for microorganisms. Like, we need to be keeping this cycle going. It is a highly valuable resource that we're creating. We are divine. I mean, we're made of the same things they are. And my feeling is, to keep us maintained at our highest, in our highest capacity, we don't need any more than what this offers. We are of it. We're of the stars. So I'm finding ways here where, I feel that everything coming forth from my body, everything, is useful in some way. And so there's no such thing as throwing anything away. So I will show you some earth a little later, humanure. It has no smell. The first thing to go is the feces. I mean, the first thing to be broken down. Everyone wants it. I mean, they go after it wide away. I mean, bugs, insects, it's all mixed in with fruit scraps and grass. There's so much knowledge out here that they're waiting, whatever this is cosmic, to teach you, to show you. And I've been driven to feel that I want to create the earth and bring it and give it back. And there's a lot of information, and it's really great work, because every time I fill up a bucket of food and scraps, every bit of it is being used. The urine, absolutely. The urine diluted with water, every time I pee, it goes into a container. If I'm not near a plant that I'm asking who wants it, who's feeling, who needs it, you will be spoken to. You'll be guided, when you just walk the land quietly and caress the plants and touch them, and I do spend a lot of time here naturally. I don't use the word naked because it implies something else, like guilt or shame. It's the way I've been brought to the earth, and I feel that I receive the most in that way. You know, I feel that all of this stuff is separation. It's enough for me, like no walls. Okay, that was not the way to connect. I mean, we put artwork on the walls. Look at this. Artwork. If you've tried eating mono meals very much,
No,
have you
no.
sat down to a plate of one thing and saw how much you could eat? Okay.
No,
You see,
never.
that's when you know when you've had enough. Now, if you have a plate with 8 to 10 things on it, it seems to me now, the way I'm eating, that you'd never get enough of anything. And then we might overeat. But the way animals eat, and I'm constantly observing, I mean, one of the reasons I came here alone, and that was the intention. And I've spent 5 years here alone, night after night after night, and day after day, many hours in silence, observing, just watching, just learning, just feeling guided, being directed, you know. And I've noted the animals are only eating one thing at a time. It's how all nature eats, except for us, right? So, yeah, and you don't overeat that way, and you really get into the food. If it's coconut, or just some oranges, just bananas. I'm used to that now, and I enjoy it.
So you never feel hungry?
No, because I eat small meals throughout the day. I don't have this thing, breakfast, lunch, dinner. All that was created around work schedule.
Yes.
So I don't have much patience waiting for food anymore. I never wait. And when we talk about fast food, like fast food, like Taco Bell and these things, okay, you want to know what real fast food is? Take a watermelon and a knife and cut, open. Okay, that's fast. Take a papaya, open. Banana, peel it. Now that's fast food. It's the greatest food on the earth. It's so perfect, you know, and the smells, and we're attracted to that. And we have the tools to grab fruit and climb trees, and so I got way into fruit. And especially here, it's easy. It's pretty much what I eat. I do eat some veggies. I don't eat lots of greens because I am living in green. I touch it and see it and feel it all day. So I think the more we're around green, you know, green has oxygen. This is what this is all about when it comes down to it, is oxygenating our bodies. You know, that's where we're living at a high level, and when we can take more information in. We need to be cleansing, but also, you know, living clean, and it's hard to do that in modern city life. I had a major transformation in New York City. Major. It was far more than food. I stopped wearing contact lenses, started sleeping on the floor. I started, you know, next to this queen size bed. I wanted to ground, and even though I was up on the 21st floor, it still for me was getting down. And I started sun gazing, doing things, you know, that we're told never to do. I started doing, looking deep into this very bright light. You know, at first you're afraid, fear comes in, but what happened, I think, for me was fear through those processes and surrendering to blurry vision. I have a very different feeling now about vision, what we're really supposed to be seeing. I don't think we're supposed to be seeing perfectly clear all the time. I don't think so. I think when we're stressed and we're tired and we're feeling emotional, it's a good time for vision to blur a little bit so that we can go inward. We've got stuff to work out, right? So I embrace the blur, I really do. And my vision is not perfect all the time, but it's perfect when I need it to be. And if I ask for it, you know, I feel it comes in. Sometimes I just like to let my eyes relax. And also, I want to sense more your energy. I'm not so concerned with the freckles on your face, you know, and your moles and things. I just want to feel you know, your presence here. So, but I can see you. Yeah. She's wondering, can you see? Hi. But also, I came here fluent in Spanish. That was a big deal. That has allowed me to. I lived in South America for 3 years, some years back. So I had a feeling a little bit about Latin culture and music for sure, because that's what I was doing. South America. but it allowed me to establish relationships immediately, like I'm sure you have done with Tico, with workers here, who have been a big part of it. But this is a very, very beautiful valley, and, you know, maybe you'll come down this way, you know. You're looking around, and it's just a very special place and good work being done. You know, Finca de Vida, where you are now. People are coming for deep healing. You know, amazing things are happening. But we're all inspired here by this, you know, and this has been incredible. This part of my life, nothing like it. The amount that I've learned in the past 5 years, like a child starting over. I was like a little baby here, taking baby steps. I use a machete every day, you know, cutting and chopping and well, not chopping like, but getting food here, learning how to use that kind of a tool. And learning to just walk barefoot. What is it like to be naked all day till 5 o'clock? When you first put something on, because it's starting to get a little cool. Have you ever experienced that? Any of you?
No.
Been natural all day, just been you. And
No.
So what, you know? Just been you, totally natural all day. Have you spent a night totally under the stars?
No.
All night long. Have you ever been in a huge rainstorm and just and just received and bathed? And I mean sheets of rain, and just stood under it and felt that on your body? Almost a massage. So much water coming down. You feel, you know. These experiences have transformed me. I'm not the same. I'm given so much. This is unconditional love here. I mean, look around. The systems, it's so much harmony and balance. And it's so real. It's so honest. That's why, like, I wanted to stop using lots of talking words with people. I just wanted to be alone, like, I just wanted real, like, truth all around me for a long time, you know, for hours a day. And you start relaxing into it. And then you become, you know, it helps you see yourself in a different light. And I think then you attract people who are also honest and truthful.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to deal with the other stuff. It just drains energy. So if I'm taking all this care and time to put vitality and energy in my body, it's the same with the people that I'm with. I want to be energized and receive and give, not the other way around, you know. By eating only natural food and nothing processed, nothing made in a machine. You know, I don't enter supermarkets anymore. You know, it's quite economical in a way too. This food, we can grow it. You know, I feel liberation from that stuff. You know, not being tied to that grid in that way, so to speak. Technology, I appreciate internet and all of these things, and you need to use it with great discernment and discipline. It's a wonderful tool, and I think it's going to be around for a long time. But careful, you know.
And have you tried what Anastasia says in her book? To eat the seeds and then put it on the soil. Have you tried that?
Put the seed under your tongue and let it imprint your DNA on itself. I think I've done it before. I love the books. The Anastasia, I talk about them a lot. I deeply connected with this woman, given the fact that I was out here sleeping under the stars alone in this place here.
I feel I'm with her looking at you.
Yeah.
She channels to people all over the world. She's, you know, this woman, she's on a sort of a mythical status. We don't know. No one's going to see her. I can't prove to you she's out there. But the words that are been written in these books have definitely special meaning. I feel a lot of information, a lot of things are coming through me or to me, that I could just be a vessel, a vehicle. How did I get on this? I couldn't, you know, what am I doing? You know, the way I'm living. I'm just trying to forging a trailblazing on my own. I've come with no human guides, no one that I'm following or thinking about. You know, she's inspired me. And there's another woman I've been inspired by, Jazz Moheen, who is a being of light, I feel. She's a light giver on the earth. She's done a lot of work with breatharianism. This may be what might seem, you know, a little bit too simple or too barren. But it can inspire people to simplify. We need to, you know, when are people going to voluntarily stop flushing toilets? By choice. Not because the water went out and they have no toilet. But saying, no, I'm creating something that's food for other creatures. I'm going to make compost.
Sometimes
Yeah.
humanity worries me because I don't see a change. There are many people. We have spiritual people,
Yeah.
religious people, but you try and you show them a different view, and they just block themselves. They said, no, that's weird, or oh, that's disgusting, but why? And that worries me because there's so many things that we need to learn and unlearn, and people are not listening.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you be all the things that you're telling those people about? And you almost don't have to say anything. They're going to feel it and see it. You're just going to walk forth and they feel your energy. Wow, that woman, her eyes are bright. She's radiant. She's got light. I want to know more. And they come. They start coming to you. We just need to be it. I was suffering. Too much fat and oil. And, yeah, I thought, how can I release that? It's just a big plan. It doesn't go with